Good morning, ultimate hustlers and digital empire builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we're talking about how in the heck do you go to a leader after being a follower for so long? Yes, I found this great article, 7 tips on how to become a leader after being a follower for so long. Listen, everybody's got leadership abilities. It's a matter of whether or not you have the courage to exercise them. So I'm going to talk about some tips on how to do that. So hustle on in here. Click that like button. Make sure that you comment the name of your business and or your brand and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, ultimate hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite marketing service partner. From Thornton Online Marketing here in St. Louis, Missouri. And if you are in business and you need a marketing service partner, then let us help you. We want to be that for you in your business and on your brand. We specialize in helping you capture, nurture, and convert more leads without paid advertisement because we are some content marketing geniuses over here. So we believe in content marketing, leading with value and attracting to you the right people to connect with. So we're excited about today's show. Today we're talking about leadership from a different angle. I don't even know if we've ever approached it from this angle, but sometimes we fall into leadership roles and being submissive in our organizations, in our business, in our jobs, in our companies. But we do that follower role so long. When we're thrust into leadership, we may not know how to make that happen, how to make that leap. So we're going to talk about 7 things that can help you make the leap from a follower if you've been in that role for a long time and then transition into leadership. Comment leader if you guys think this is a good topic for today. I know for me, with my 7-figure agency aspirations, as I'm looking to grow this business and this enterprise, I am certainly starting to take seriously my leadership abilities or lack thereof and improve those as I start to develop the team. So comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we get Facebook to know that there's some great content out there other than a lot of the negativity that they routinely show. So a couple quick announcements before we jump live today and get into our quote of the day. Inside the Hustle Spotlight. How many of you guys saw the first ever Inside the Hustle Spotlight yesterday with Denisha Caldwell? I am still looking for entrepreneurs who are successful in their businesses and are willing to share their journey thus far in their business with other entrepreneurs. And we call that Inside the Hustle Spotlight. It's a 5 to 7 minute interview where we just kind of talk about your backstory and what got you into the business that you're in and how entrepreneurship is treating you. If you're interested in that, I need you to comment below Inside the Hustle, or if you know anybody that I should be talking to that's doing wonderful things in their business, we want to talk to them as well. Also, if you have not gone to subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? Let me post a link in here real quick. It's youtube.com/financial health mentor. And every night I do, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say every night. I'm going to try to keep up as many nights as possible. But I'm doing nightly recaps of my day as I'm on this 7-figure journey to build this agency. And that's only going to be exclusive to YouTube. So if you haven't already, make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. youtube.com/financial health mentor. If you're following me closely on this journey to 7 figures, my goal is to be a quarter of the way there. So by the end of this year, that's 6 months, be at least 20 to 25K recurring revenue in my business. And I'll be sharing how I'm doing that. And for those of you who want to start a business, or if you have a marketing agency and you're looking for some help, some guidance in that area, then you should come with me on this journey as well. I have a private Facebook group that we're starting up where we're going to be really sharing some of the tactics and trainings on how we're pushing to 7 figures. And then also, if you are in the St. Louis area, I'm going to be at this networking event next Wednesday night from 6 to 7. It is called the BOB Chit Chat Black on Business networking event, Wednesday, June 8th at 6 to 7:30, and that's at the Trio Banquet Center over in St. Charles, Missouri. Comment network if you would like to be there. It's $5 at the door. They're going to have a food vendor. They're going to have a speaker for the evening. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to just come together in a safe space to share best practices and how we're growing our businesses and really to connect with other entrepreneurs. So if you're in the St. Louis metro area, let me know. I would love to meet you there. As they say, don't meet me there, beat me there. The founders and the owners of that event are wonderful. The host of that event, Amelia Robertson, is also a wonderful entrepreneur as well. So I'm looking to make more connections here in my local community. So that's it for the announcements today, man. We're talking leadership today. How many of you guys are ready for leadership? How many of you guys are going from being a longtime follower? You've been in roles where you were supporting leadership, but now it's time for you to step into leadership. I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to do that today. But before we get into that, y'all know we start every episode of the Cortez Hustle Show with a quote of the day. And today's quote is from Jim Rohn, man. Hit me like a ton of bricks. He said, "Indecision is the thief of opportunity." I want you to comment on one if you have ever let indecisiveness rob you of an opportunity. Let me pull up the comments for myself, and let me drop a bunch of ones in this camp, right? Because I've been there. I've allowed indecisiveness to rob me of some opportunities, y'all. And here's what we tend to think about when it comes to opportunities. We tend to think that we have to have all of the answers before we make the decision. Sometimes the decision to make is take the first step and see if other answers will be revealed to you when you take the first step, right? We are allowing fear and anxiety in a lot of cases override our gut. We have a gut feeling. We've got something inside of us that says, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I should be moving in this direction, but because I don't have all the answers, I'm going to wait for all the answers to show up. Guys, a lot of times you don't get, not only do you not get all the answers, a lot of times you don't get any answers until you make the decision to commit, right? It wasn't until I decided to commit to going business to business with my marketing agency did Josh Nelson show up. Did the Go High Level platform show up? Did other coaches and mentors like a Mike Cooch show up in my life, and it's almost like magic, right? But it does not happen until you commit. You have to make the decision to take massive action. And the more action you take, the more answers will be revealed to you. I'm starting to see a clearer and more clear picture every single day that I take action towards laying the foundation for this agency. That I'm like, man, I should have done this a long time ago, right? Are you making decisions that will not rob you of opportunities? If you don't decide, that is also making a decision, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Deciding to postpone, deciding to wait, deciding to sleep on it, that's a decision. And according to Jim Rohn, indecision is the thief of opportunity. So let's jump into this article today. Let me go ahead and grab it and post it in the comments for you guys so that you guys can have it. And here's the premise of this article. As I was thinking about a different angle to share some leadership strategies with you guys and even with myself, because as you know, building a seven-figure business, you don't do it by yourself, right? There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. I hate when I hear people say that. I understand where they're coming from, but anybody who is a millionaire will tell you themselves that they didn't do it by themselves, right? There is no such thing as a self-made millionaire. And ultimately, it's going to come down to my ability to lead people, right? My ability to lead a team is going to determine the growth and the success and the rate of growth and success that I have in this business enterprise. And it's going to be the same with you and yourself. I have always, all my life, been great in supportive roles and supporting people who are in leadership roles. I have no problem with submitting to authority. I have no problem speaking up and offering ideas and inputs to support leadership. But sometimes when you are in that role for a very, very long time, it's hard to break out of that internally, right? Everybody around you might be looking to you for leadership, but internally, sometimes it's hard for us to see ourselves as leaders. So one of the things that I have to tell myself every day when I am doing the power of I am, and I am saying my commitments, and I am forgiving myself, I tell myself regularly that I am a great leader. I am a great founder. I am a great servant leader. I have to tell myself all the time, because if you're not telling yourself things like that, sometimes it really gets hard for you to see yourself in that light. So today's article is written by Carrie Creasewood, right? 7 ways to become a leader when you've been following for too long, right? And I wouldn't say for too long. Sometimes we're in those supportive roles because of that's more of our nature. So you want to be a leader. The only problem is that you have always been a follower and you don't know exactly what you need to do to make that transition. You may even doubt that you have what it takes to be a leader at all. How many of you guys can admit that there's a little bit of doubt, there's a little bit of anxiety, there's a little bit of fear in you when you're thinking about becoming a leader? Can I get a 2 on the comments, right? Is there a little bit of a doubt? Is there a little bit of anxiety? Come on, man. You got to be honest, right? Being a leader, especially in what I'm trying to do, in the area that I'm trying to be in, I'm literally trying to become essential to small businesses, right? And sometimes being a leader means you literally become responsible in some way, shape, or form for the well-being of other people, and that's scary, right? My man Tremaine says, yes, I'm a 2, a little bit apprehensive, but we understand, Tremaine, that it's okay to have fear. It's okay to have anxiety, but the literal definition of courage and bravery is someone who moves in spite of the fear. And heck, sometimes we move because of the fear, right? So here are a few important truths. First of all, you may be more ready than you think. In addition to this, there are things that you can do to develop leadership skills demonstrate those skills, and put them to use right now. So let's talk about 7 things that you could do to help you transition out of the follower role. I've been a follower, I've been a supporter of leadership all of my life. And maybe it's not all of your life, maybe it's just been for a few years or whatever. I've been a number 2 at a company. I've been an assistant supervisor, an assistant manager, but now it's time for me to step into that full leadership role, that full boss role, that full management role, and not be the CEO where everything is on me, right? Number 1, here's one thing that you can do. Use what you have learned as a follower, right? I was sharing with Denisha on our first ever Inside the Hustle Spotlight, right? One of the things that makes me feel 100% confident in my ability to be an entrepreneur is the fact that I was a great employee. I'm gonna say that again, because some people want to be entrepreneurs and they're horrible employees on their job, right? They show up late, they leave early, they call off once or twice a month. Like, one of the things that gave me confidence when October 3rd, 2016, when I decided to walk away from my job and become a full-time entrepreneur, one of the things that gave me the confidence is I know how to be a good employee. So if I'm a good employee for someone else, I'm gonna be a good employee for myself. And the same is true when we look at leadership, right? Most great leaders were also exceptional followers, right? Don't fall into that trap of thinking that I can't get along with my boss because I am a boss, or I just can't work for nobody, so I need to have my own thing. No, most people who can't work for nobody can't work for themselves either, right? You become your own worst employee, somebody that you probably should fire, right? First of all, being a follower is not a negative thing. In fact, everybody is a follower in at least one area of their life. It simply means that you recognize that somebody has the experience and knowledge required to accomplish certain tasks, and that your best way of making things happen are to use your skills in support of that person's effort. So let's get clear on this. To be a follower does not mean you're incapable of leading. There should not be a negative stigma on that in terms of I am supporting someone else's mission and vision, right? We talk about being a follower, especially us who are parents, right? We want to make our children leaders, and we say don't be followers and things of that nature, and that puts a negative connotation on being a follower. But every leader needs a supporting cast, right? In fact, you can't be a great leader unless you have great followers, right? So even better, you can use what you learned as a follower to make yourself a better leader. For example, you've probably learned to diplomatically express concern or disagreement. I would say that as a leader, as a follower, right? You learn how to talk to leaders in a way that I can say, here's my opinion on the matter without being disrespectful, right? As a follower, you learn how to cooperate and collaborate with other followers under the leadership, right? That's another great attribute, right? You also understand the importance of collaboration and recognizing that everybody plays an important role on a team. When you lead people, you will know to encourage this attitude in your followers. So the question always is, when I'm thinking about going and making that leap from follower to leader, what were some of the things that I learned being a follower, especially from not only great leaders, but sometimes we follow bad leaders, right? Sometimes the lesson is how not to lead when you're following someone who is not that great in their own leadership role, right? So we got 6 more to go, and we're going to get into those. But it is 7:20, so y'all know around 7:20 every morning, I like to do 1-minute motivation. That's where we share a short motivational clip, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. And I'm going to ask you to comment your takeaway. Those of you who are in position to talk, I know some of you guys are getting prepared for work. Some of you guys may be in the car listening. But if you're in position to talk, then I definitely want to hear your takeaways on this video of the day. So let's get into some 1-minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
Muhammad Ali said, "The man who has no imagination has no wings." If you can't envision it, if you can't believe it, you will never see it. You will never be it. You see, if you want to live an average life, that is fine. Keep your feet on the ground. But if you want to soar, if you want to achieve great things, you must not only think those crazy thoughts, but feel it. Feel what it would feel like to be doing that thing you want to do. Feel what it feels like to have all the things you want, to be the person that has achieved the things you want to achieve.
The very process of you feeling like you already have it will send vibrational signals to your brain. And if you are willing to work for it, it will be in your life very soon. Albert Einstein once said, "Your imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions." Only those who believe anything is possible can achieve the things most would consider impossible.
You must know who you are going to be before you become that person. You must picture what you want to achieve and feel like you already have it before you can bring it into your reality.
Hoo-wee. Listen, people, you must know who you're going to be before you become it, right? I've already decided, I've already seen my future, and I've seen the contributions that I'm going to be able to make to this world as a multimillionaire. I've seen and I felt the core of my being what it's going to be like to be a billionaire and to be able to rebuild communities and schools and churches and make continual contributions to some of the things that I believe in, right? You've got to know who you are. That means you got to be willing to allow yourself to imagine the greatness that could be. And when you see it, then you got to try to literally go there in your mind's eye and feel and experience and walk around, right? I sit and I talk with the Cortez, the Cortez hustle from 2025, from 2027, from 2037. And when y'all get to meet those guys, I'm telling you, there's some amazing dudes, right? And I try to get to feel what it's going to be like to pass my company to my sons, right? And have them take over for another 50 years and groom my grandchildren to come up. Like, are you imagining? Are you seeing? Are you feeling what it's going to be like? Or have you let this world beat you down in such a way that you have become afraid to even dream? Think about it. Dreams are not only free, but they are limitless, right? I could dream to be a thousandaire, but why? When I can also dream to be a billionaire. If Apple grew a company from scratch to $3 trillion, why shouldn't I be dreaming that for my business and my brands? Took 40 years for them to go from 0 to $1 trillion. 2 years after $1 trillion, they went to 2 trillion. 2 years after 2 trillion, they went to 3 trillion. If I'm going to dream anything, Can I dream as big as a Steve Jobs? That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's about. Think, feel, but he said, don't stop there. You got to think about it. You got to imagine it. You got to vision it. You got to vision it so vividly that you can feel it, that you can taste it. Like I can feel the warm sands under my toes as I'm walking the beaches of Dubai, right? I remember watching them build those palm tree islands, right? On Modern Marvels. I remember watching them build that out, how they were importing truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of sand, how they were bringing machines in that scoop sand up from the foundation, from the sea floors, and they were pumping it in, and they were literally reshaping that area of the planet. I can feel right now what that warm sand feels like under my toes. But you can't just imagine it. You can't just see it. You can't just feel it. That vision and that feeling has got to inspire you to do the work. That feeling and what you see has got to inspire you to get off your assets and go build some assets. Don't be afraid to dream big, and allow those dreams to motivate you and inspire you to taking massive, massive, massive action. And for the life of me, don't spend too much time around non-dreamers, right? I kind of want to show you, but I don't have, I might be able to blot the name out, but I want to show y'all this real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up. And I think I got my tool to blot out the name, because I don't want to put anybody on blast. I'm the most non-confrontational guy that you would ever meet. I don't want no smoke, man. I'm just trying to help inspire people. But I want you to see this, because the point I was going to make is, for the life of me, make sure that you don't put yourself around people that are non-dreamers, right? I want to show y'all something. Like people like this, you cannot afford to be around. You cannot afford to be sharing your dreams with, your visions with, your goals with. I put a post out on Facebook, and I strongly believe this about me and mine. But I also know that there are tons and tons and tons of people that feel like this person, especially as a Black man in this country. There are tons of people who feel like we will never, ever, ever be, quote, allowed to have a certain measure of success. So let me see if I can get to this comment real quick, and I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all. I want to show y'all this. All right, let me blot out this person's name first, though. Okay. So maybe the comment is maybe they went back and deleted it. All right. But I'm going to show y'all this. So this is what I posted, right? Let me share this with y'all real quick, and then we're going to get back to these 7 tips. But on the lines of dreaming and being around the right people, right? So this was my post from yesterday. Me being born broke, that's not my fault. But if I die broke, that is my fault. If my grandchildren are born broke, that's my fault too, right? And the comment that someone shared on this post was, if they want you to die broke, you're going to die broke, period. So from one black man to another. That's what this was. And that comes from a history of our successes being torn down by prejudice and racist people in society. So a lot of us operate in a fear that I can never be successful, because if I become successful, I'm either going to get killed, or they're going to tear down what I build, or they're going to find a way to take the money back if I do build massive success, whatever. I know that's the reality that we come from, but I'm just not going to live in that type of fear. And sometimes when people are non-dreamers, they bring that type of energy to the party. You don't want those type of people at your party. You don't want those type of people at your party. So do all that you can to dream big, to visualize it, to see it so clear that you can actually feel it, that you can smell it, you can touch it, you can taste it, you can hear it. But allow those things to inspire you to do the work. Remember this: all work works, people. All of it. All work works. So do the work. That is, ladies and gentlemen, 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by the B.O.B. Chit Chat, coming up next Wednesday, June 8th at 6 p.m. to 7:30. It is a networking event where we're going to have some safe place to speak about entrepreneurship, where we are as a culture of Black entrepreneurs, and how we can move our businesses to the next level, how we can help and support one another. This is going to be hosted at Trio Banquet Center and Rentals, 2021 Gulfway Street, St. Charles, Missouri, 63301. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, I would love to meet you there next week. So we're talking leadership, ladies and gentlemen, how to go from follower to leader, right? If you've been in a supportive role and you've been supporting leadership for a long time, whether you have been doing this in a nonprofit organization, whether you've been doing this in your family, whether you've been doing this on the job and now you're stepping out as an entrepreneur, whether you've been doing this on the job and you've been assistant manager, now you're ready to step into a management role, or you're ready to step into one of those executive roles, but you have been in a supportive capacity for so long, you might even be doubting yourself a little bit. Can I even lead? Right? What are 7 things that you can do to help you prepare to make that transition? Number 1 is consider the things that you have learned being a follower. That's number 1. Number 2, don't wait for a promotion. Don't wait for a promotion. You don't need to have a job title with the word supervisor, executive, lead, or manager to practice and display your leadership skills. Oh, I hope y'all heard that. And oftentimes, we are waiting on the promotion and saying, hey, when I become supervisor, I'm going to start acting like a supervisor. If that's your attitude, you never become supervisor. Because in order to get the job of a supervisor, you have to act like a supervisor before you get the job of a supervisor, to clearly demonstrate that you deserve to be the supervisor. And then you get the promotion. Jim Rohn is also famous for saying, until you do more than what you're paid for, you'll never get paid for more than what you do. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say it slowly. Until you make a habit of doing more than what you're paid for, you will never get to the point where you're paid more for what you do. And that's in business, and that's on the job. Every time I elevated to a leadership role in a company that I was working for, it always came months after I was already doing the work as the lead. I was already taking the initiative as the leader. I was already training folks. I was already interjecting my thoughts. I was already acting and behaving like a leader before I got the title of leadership. before I got the position of leadership. So number two is you don't have to wait for a promotion, right? Instead, find opportunities at work, at home, and in your community to be a leader. Here are a few things that you can try. Let's go over a few of these things. If you're a member of a church or any community organization, volunteer to lead committees. Simple enough. Become a coach, umpire, or referee. At work, most big projects are divided into smaller sub projects. Offer to take the lead on one of those. Again, this isn't, you don't have to wait for a promotion. Start acting like you're already a leader. And I promise you, if you're good at it, those with those in position to promote you will recognize that, right? Become active in the PTO. Choose a charity and organization, an event such as a golf tournament or auction. There's a lot of things that you can do to show your ability to lead. Not only will you develop and strengthen your leadership skills, other people will begin to recognize you as a leader. Put yourself in positions of leadership, whether there's pay associated with it or not. And you start to become a leader of men and women. You start to become a leader of people. So, number one, take the lessons that you learned as a follower. Some of those lessons came from following good leaders. Some of those lessons came from following bad leaders. You learn what not to do, how not to treat people. Number two, you don't have to wait for a promotion. You don't have to wait for the title of leadership to be a leader, right? And most organizations, you can look around and see people doing the work of leadership without a title. And sometimes it's like, oh, I thought you was a supervisor. Nope. Oh, I thought you was a manager. Nope. You don't have to wait for the title. Number three, for those of you just tuning in, we're talking about 7 things that can help you transition from follower to leader, right? And not that being a follower is a bad thing. There are some people who have certain gifts, like the gifts of administration, right? That's a gift. They can organize. They can do a lot of the mundane tasks, and they do that with joy. But they don't have the vision of a leader, so they don't want to be the leader. They just love to support leadership, and that's okay too. So we're not saying that there is anything wrong with being a follower, right? We're not saying anything wrong with being a follower, but what we are saying is that there are things that you have done in your role of support and following that can transition you into leadership if leadership is thrust up on you, or if you're ready to actually walk into leadership. Number 3, understand your strengths and then use them. One difference between leaders and followers is that leaders have taken the time to inventory their personal and professional strengths, and they are willing to use those strengths. Followers, on the other hand, tend to only use their skills. Your skills are the things that you have been trained to do in order to accomplish tasks. Your strengths are the innate qualities within you that you can develop and use in order to become a good leader. One of my strengths is patience. I didn't know that for a long time. That's a God-given gift that I have, is the ability to be patient, the ability to be slow to anger, the ability to be calm, cool, and collected, the ability to not get too high or to get too low, right? That is a gift. That is a talent. That is a strength that I have. So in leadership, I have to learn how and when to use that, right? For example, you may have learned that the skill of computer programming, but your strength is keeping people motivated and helping them feel good about themselves. What are your strengths? Comment at least one strength that you have. I told you one of mine is patience, right? One of mine is exaltation, right? I just love to celebrate people. I just love to lift people up, man. People doing anything amazing, anything positive. Comment one of your strengths, not a skill, but a strength, right? One of my strengths is patience. Another is lifting people up. That's what I do. I love to promote. I love to celebrate other people. That is a strength of mine, right? So in leadership, then I use that strength to celebrate people for their small wins. When they do a good job, publicly pat them on the back. That's huge, huge, right? Mark says the value of the known and unknown mentors of the world. Man, you better tell them you can learn lessons from any and everybody if you have a mindset bent on learning, right? All right. So number 3 is understand your strengths and then use them. Number 4, we're talking about how do you go from follower to leader, right? Nothing wrong with being a follower. Some of us have been called to support leadership, but sometimes leadership is thrust up on you. Other times you actively seek it out and you want to walk into leadership, whether that is leadership in starting your own business, that is leadership in starting a nonprofit organization, that is a leadership and going from an assistant manager to manager, whether that is a leadership in a household. Maybe you were married and your spouse was the primary leader and now you're divorced, or maybe, God forbid, that spouse passed away unexpectedly, and now you're expected to lead the family after being in a role of following all this time. How do you step into those roles? Give me 7 keys. Number 4, work on your communication skills. Work on your communication skills, just period, whether you want to lead or not. People don't understand that this is why I do podcasts. This is why I do videos. This is why I do content in the way that I do. I'm constantly getting to work on my communication skills live and in living color every single day. You guys are watching me practice my communication skills. One of the first things that I listened to, or one of the first things that prompted me to start going down this path to work on my communication skills was when I was living in New Orleans. My Uncle Billy, this is a funny story how I got to New Orleans. I went to a family reunion with my Uncle Sonny, and I was living in Tupelo, Mississippi at the time, which I was born in Tupelo. So I was living in Tupelo, and my dad's family, who I'm not very close with, they were having a family reunion in New Orleans. So my uncle knew that I was in Tupelo. He was like, hey, we're going down to New Orleans for the family reunion. You should come. I said, of course. I want to see my grandma, my uncles. I haven't seen them in a long time. So I get in the car and I go. And when I go, this joker leaves me. He took me to New Orleans and then he left me there, because here's when you have people in your life that see something in you. He said he went and he talked to his brother, my uncle Sonny, talked to his brother, my Uncle Billy. He said he's living in Tupelo, he ain't got no job, he's sitting around smoking weed all day. Can you help him? Can he come to work for you? And my Uncle Billy at the time had he's an electrician. So he's an electrical contractor. So his business was growing and he was having trouble finding good help, right? So my Uncle Sonny, knowing this, he quarterbacked the whole thing, takes me to New Orleans. We have fun at the family reunion. Got to see my grandma, my grandpa, George, and Ollie Mae, and we had a good time. And then he leaves and leaves me in New Orleans. But that was his plan the whole time. He's like, you need somebody to help you do the work. He needs some guidance. He needs some mentorship. Take your nephew under your wing. And thank God Uncle Billy said yes. And he started teaching me the electrical trade. And we had a good time. We bonded over about 2 or 3 months of solid working every day. We were together at the houses and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but I said all that to say, as we would ride to and from the jobs, we were, in the mornings, we would listen to the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and they would have this contest on the radio where you would call in and try to talk 30 seconds without saying And every morning I would try to do that. I was like, I'm gonna call in because I think I can do it, right? And that helped me to start going down the pathway of, okay, can you really, truly become a better communicator, right? Can you speak for 30 seconds without saying, And I started going down this path of trying my best to become a better communicator. Ultimately, I ended up in a call center, which also helped me become a better communicator because I literally worked in a call center where I took anywhere from 100 to 125 calls every single day. So that helped me. And then on some of those calls, people would often say, hey, man, you got a voice for radio. Hey, man, you sound like Denzel. Hey, man, you sound like Morgan Freeman a little bit. Hey, man, have you ever worked in radio? You sound like you should be on the radio. A little way before I started. This back in 2010, 2011, long before 2001, 2004. This is way before I started internet marketing, before I thought about doing a podcast, building a marketing agency and a media company, any of that stuff. People were sowing seeds into my life saying, listen, that voice sounds like it should be doing something other than answering calls all day. And lo and behold, years later, here I am with my own podcast, doing media, doing digital marketing and all kinds of stuff. But work on your communication skills, just period, but especially if you're going to be a leader. Good leaders are effective communicators in all areas. This includes speaking in front of groups, telephone communications, electronic communications, and written communications. Now, that's my next evolution. I got to work on my written communication, right? Leaders know how to identify their message and communicate that message in a way that their audience understands. If you have any deficit when it comes to communicating with others, work on those now. So while you're in the follower capacity and you know that leadership might be thrust upon you in the future, or you know you're going to be walking into leadership in the future, one of the greatest tools that a leader has in their toolkit is their ability to communicate. You've got to be willing and able to communicate the vision. You've got to be able to communicate instructions. You've got to be willing and able to communicate and dialogue through disagreements and mediate and negotiate. So another great skill to have and develop. Number 5, praise and support others. Praise and support others. If you're going to be a great leader, right? Great leaders provide motivation and uplift others. They take notice when others have done well and they praise them for that. They also proactively look for people who need support and find ways to provide that support. This is where you probably learned a lesson from a bad leader, because you've done a great job and that leader had never come and acknowledged that you did a great job. That leader never came and patted you on the back. That leader never put you in front of the group and said, hey, because of this person's contribution, we are closer to our goal, or we hit our goal. Right? That's something that you can practice right now. You don't have to be a leader to be a cheerleader for someone, to champion someone else's cause, to try to lift them up, to inspire, to motivate and encourage them to do better or to keep doing the great things that they are doing. We're talking 7 things that you could be doing to go from leader to follower, or things or skills that you can work on and practice and develop that will make that transition smooth. I promise you, you get good at making people feel good, and they'll always want to be around you, right? The greatest coaches in the world. You know, you've heard that expression where, man, I'll run through a brick wall for my coach. These are people who let you know that they believe in you by the way that they communicate with you. They speak vision of your life. I can see you doing this, this, and this. Oh, you did this well, right? But here's something that you might want to get and work on. But this is the thing that you did well. Praise and support of others is a huge, huge leadership component, right? Number 6 on our list. We got 2 more and we'll wrap this thing up. Number 6, tell others about your ideas. One thing about leaders is that they believe in the value of their own ideas. Because of this, they are willing to share these ideas with the people who can help them make them happen, right? If you are used to being a follower, this can be a difficult task. You may have fear that your idea will be rejected or sharply criticized, right? I remember as a kid when I was in school and the teacher would have dialogue. We have those critical thinking sessions where everybody's able to talk, or she'd call on people for answers, and I would always have the right answer, but I wouldn't raise my hand. How many of you guys been there, right? You're in meetings with your boss, you're thinking the right answer, but you wouldn't raise your hand, and then someone else says what you were thinking and they get praised for it. Someone else says the right answer and your teacher gives them a gold star, right, for the day. As leaders, you have to become good at communicating the vision. What are you seeing? Not only for the entire organization, if you are leading an organization, not only for the entire department, if you're leading a department, not only for the group, if you're leading a group, but also communicating the vision that you see for the individuals that you're working with. And this is where another good leadership attribution is getting to know the people that you're working with, right? Getting to know their goals and their dreams, right? But you've got to get good at communicating the vision. You got to get good at being confident in your thoughts and opinions and understanding that your thoughts and opinions have value. And when you understand how collaboration works, you understand the power of the mastermind, right? The Bible says it this way: where 2 or 3 come together in agreement, then Christ is in the midst, right? Dr. Napoleon Hill said it this way: when 2 or people come together in agreement, the power of their minds create a third supernatural mind that they both get to draw from. And that's where he developed the mastermind principle, right? So when you understand collaboration, you throw an idea out with confidence. It may not be the idea that gets picked up and run with, but it might be the idea that sparks the idea that gets picked up and run with. But if you hold that idea to yourself, maybe the conversation goes in an entirely different direction. So as a leader, you got to be confident in interjecting your thoughts. You got to be confident in knowing that your thoughts have value and that your ideas are meaningful and can add to the conversation. Number 7, lead yourself. You're trying to go from follower to leader, and everybody is a leader in this capacity. Lead yourself. How can you ever be a good leader if you are directionless and indecisive in your own in your own life. You can't. So set goals and work to make things happen for yourself. Set a timeline as well so you don't procrastinate. Lead yourself, people. Then do what it takes to mold yourself into the best person you can be. Finish your degree. Take a class to learn about a new piece of software. Move to a new city. Get organized. Basically, if you are falling short in areas of your life, fix things. If you have a professional or personal dream or objective, get the ball rolling. Good leaders are determined and they have a sense of purpose. So let me recap real quick. 7 things that you can do if you are serious about going from follower to leader at some point in the near future. Number 1, you want to make sure that you utilize what you learned in your role as a follower. Number 2, don't wait for the promotion. You can start doing leadership activities long before you ever get the title of leader, right? Number 3, Number 3, understand your strengths and lean into them. Use them. Because when it comes to leadership and collaboration, things fit together like pieces of a puzzle. But you've got to get to a place where people know your strengths. And the way that they know your strengths is you lean into them. So when I'm in leadership and I see you in leadership and I know you're strong here, then I know that I can assign you this area to bring your gifts and talents to. Number 4, work on your communication skills, right? Your communication skills. A leader has to be a good communicator. You got to be able to communicate the vision. You got to be able to communicate instructions. You got to be able to communicate inspiration and motivation, right? Number 5, praise and support others. This has got to be something that you become good at publicly when appropriate, right? Give people their flowers, pat people on the back for doing a good job, right? It makes them want to continue to do that good job. Number 6, tell others your ideas. Don't be the one who sits in the corner and scared to contribute to the conversation. And number 7, lead yourself. Lead yourself. Share your vision with yourself and go out and execute. Do the things that you know need to be done without someone having to tell you to do them. Lead yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for the day, man. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. As always, tomorrow, you guys know it is Free Game Friday. So have your questions around marketing, business, social media, online business, startups, vision, mission, whatever you got questions about as it relates to business or building your business. Certainly bring those to the table. I'll also give you guys an update on the 7-figure journey, how it's going. I've picked my niche. I've done some other things. Today, I'll be sitting down and getting my goals and my tracking sheets together. So I'm excited, man. Hopefully you guys are excited about something that you are building that's going to be amazing in your life. Let me know what that is because I want to cheer for you, man. I want to cheer you on. So I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Until I talk to you guys tomorrow, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now, hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.